While it's pretty well known that certain foods are healthy and others aren't so much, quite rare that you ever get an explanation as to why. And one thing that really irks me is when someone says to eat something because it's good for you, or it's a superfood. In almost every instance, what that really translates to is it grows in nature. Ironically, most of the time, it only grows in nature because we've selectively bred it over millennia to be that way. And when half of our top nutrition advice comes from Pinterest recipes, a lot of what we consider common knowledge is actually fabricated. For example, one of the most common terms you see online regarding healthy food is that something eliminates toxins in your body, which really doesn't make any sense. If your body is filled with toxins and certain foods remove them, then that means we could have brought back Steve Irwin with a blueberry smoothie. In reality, almost all supplements or foods that claim to rid your body of toxins are really just laxatives or diuretics, so it gives the impression that they're somehow flushing something away, when in truth, you could have just added 3 shots of vodka to your latte like a regular person. Next, you'll often encounter online recipes for anything made overnight in a mason jar, suggesting you're not getting enough antioxidants. And one way to tell if you're not getting enough antioxidants is by looking at your skin to see if it's starting to rust. And while they do play a role in your body, the problem with suggesting you consume more is that it's fundamentally like saying the more oil you have in your car, the less likely it is to break down. Which is not true, because too much actually exacerbates the problem. The good news is, if you have too much oil in your car, you can add the excess to your overnight oats, because motor oil is also high in antioxidants. Another common notion that has recently started to shift is that you should never skip breakfast, even though there's absolutely no scientific basis for it, except that breakfast food is my favorite. I find it funny that when I used to tell people I skip breakfast, they thought I was crazy, but now I can say I'm doing intermittent fasting and they go, "Oh, very disciplined." In reality, I just woke up at noon. Additionally, the next topic that's often severely misunderstood is diet. Especially with trends like paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, and various degrees of vegetarianism becoming popular. We've all heard countless jokes about how to tell if someone is a vegan, because they'll tell you, "Ha ha ha, classic comedy." But that's not even the case anymore. I see many more people on low-carb ketogenic diets posting things online like, "Look at this fool I saw today, eating an apple like a total normie," as they show off their Costco hollow pork rinds and butter. The most important thing to know is that, generally speaking, weight is regulated by calorie intake. You burn a certain amount of calories each day, and if you consistently consume more than that, you'll gain weight. Whereas if you consume less, you'll lose weight. As a quick disclaimer, the exact amount of calories absorbed from food isn't always 100%, which is why some claim that calories in, calories out isn't entirely accurate. But more precisely, calories metabolized and absorbed minus calories burned always holds true. For the average person, the number of calories burned is around 2,000 to 2,500 per day. The generally accepted rule is that there are 3,500 calories in a pound of body fat. So if you wanted to bulk up, because it's 2025, you'd need to consume roughly 500 calories above your daily maintenance for 71 days to gain 10 pounds. Then if we examine the composition of food, every food item is made up of 3 primary macronutrients that serve different bodily functions, each with its own caloric value. There's fat at 9 calories per gram, protein at 4 calories per gram, and carbohydrates at 4 calories per gram as well. And then there's a 4th bonus macronutrient, alcohol, which provides 7 calories per gram. As for their physiological roles, broadly speaking, fat regulates hormones and prevents your cells from imploding. Protein is essential for bodily function and muscle regeneration. Carbohydrates primarily fuel aerobic and anaerobic activity, and then alcohol, which sadly just toxifies you. The good news is that since too much alcohol is toxic, if your friend is passed out in the club bathroom, you can flush out the alcohol by popping a blueberry under their tongue, just like a senzu bean. Beneath that, we have fiber and micronutrients, essentially your vitamins and minerals. Just ensure you get enough, or your teeth will fall out. Now, with these fundamentals in mind, if we examine all the popular and successful diets these days, the fact is that nearly all of them have strengths, but they also have weaknesses, meaning you're not an enlightened member of the nutritional Illuminati just because you stopped eating bread. And if we look at all the common diets spanning from plant-based to animal-based, we can see they all have pros and cons. Veganism is sustainable and very kind to animals, but it's somewhat more challenging to obtain the proper macronutrients, and you're left wondering if your friends avoid you at dinner because of your dietary restrictions, or simply your personality. Vegetarianism is sustainable and kind to animals, but comes with limited food choices. Paleo diets are effective for weight loss, yet again offer limited food options. Ketogenic diets are excellent for weight loss because they dramatically regulate blood sugar, which affects cravings and appetite, but they are extremely limiting in terms of food choices. Not ideal for anyone engaged in anaerobic sports because there are no available carbohydrates, but it's actually acceptable if you run ultra marathons. So next time you go for a 100-mile run, be sure to bring your pepperoni holster. Carnivorous diets. These diets are a bit odd and highly unsustainable, but very effective for weight loss and for managing autoimmune disorders, arthritis, and certain types of depression. And, although there have been some rather miraculous anecdotes, the downside is that it hasn't been well studied long term, and everyone at the restaurant will think you're a serial killer as you peel the breading off your KFC family bucket. For some reason, the community is also heavily involved with cryptocurrency. So, if anyone were truly the nutritional Illuminati, this would be it. And then finally, the classic. If it fits your macros. That is, if you can eat whatever you want, as long as it fits within a designated calorie limit and aligns with the amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates you've allocated. This is common for athletes and aspiring bodybuilders, but in the 7 years they've been going to the gym, they've only made progress equivalent to 2 years. Speaking of the gym, there are also a few misconceptions about exercise, and one of the most common jokes in weightlifting communities is making fun of people who say, "I'm just looking to tone." Because the only two factors determining your physical appearance are the amount of muscle you have and the amount of fat you have. It's also incredibly difficult to gain muscle, so you'll often hear girls and even guys say, "I'm worried that if I start lifting weights, I'll get too big." And unfortunately, no matter how much you believe you're an anime protagonist, it simply isn't going to happen. Ultimately, there are two main methods of improving your physical health through exercise: strength training and cardiovascular training. In other words, how strong is your body and how powerful are your heart and lungs? And while even 30 minutes to an hour of walking a day is enough to keep everything functioning, further training at the gym is not only a good idea. It's a lifestyle where you can lift something heavy now so you can be in pain for a while and then lift something slightly heavier later. Or ski on the elliptical until exhaustion, so that once your heart eventually recovers, you'll have more love to give. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos.